Well, this will be the last ride of some of the funnest and best track cars in the world of 2024. Unfortunately, these cars ended production sometime in 2023 or in early 2024. So if you are a huge car fan, make sure you grab a Kleenex box, because this video could make you really want to cry. That could happen to me. So let's get into this video and say goodbye to old friends. Dodge Challenger. The Challenger became a modern-day muscle car benchmark, and is easily one of the most successful retro cars in automotive history. There have been 3 generations of the Challenger, with the first generation which came out in 1970 to 1973, and the second generation came out in 1978 to 1983, which was basically a rebadged Mitsubishi. And the third generation came out in 2008, and the only refresh of the car came in 2015. The modern Challenger had multiple engine options, ranging from a standard V6 with 305 horsepower to the top-line V8 with 807 horsepower. They also had an even more powerful Challenger, naming the SRT Demon 170, that had a remarkable 1025 horsepower. And the car has a top speed of 250 miles per hour and breaks records with a 0-60 time of 1.66 seconds, covering the quarter mile in under 9 seconds. Here's what the engine options sounded like from the Challenger. The Challenger was one of the best overall pure muscle cars of the 21st century, and I will definitely miss this icon. Dodge Charger. The Charger was reintroduced in 2006 as a 4-door muscle car to take the whole family cruising, and this generation of the Charger has been well loved. The Dodge Charger has gone through 7 generations, with the original Charger being introduced during the 1966 model year, and the second generation came out in 1968, and the third generation in 1971, and the fourth in 1975, and the fifth in 1982 to 1987, and the sixth generation in 2006, and the current 7th generation in 2011. The current Charger has multiple engine options, and those engines are shared with the Challenger and the Chrysler 300. The most powerful engine that the current Charger had was the SRT Jailbreak, that had a tire-smoking 807 horsepower, making it the most powerful Charger model Dodge has ever offered from the factory. Here's what the engine options sounded like from the Charger. The Charger was a fan favorite, and it's hard to see it go. Chrysler 300. This marks the end of the line for the muscle car after this generation survived 18 years following its debut for the 2005 model year. The history of the Chrysler 300 has been one of America's favorite cars since it was first released in 1955. The current 300 shares the same engine options as the Challenger and Charger, except for the Hellcat engines, but it does have a 6.4 liter 392 V8 engine from the Scat Pack Charger. The Chrysler 300 was one of the few remaining traditional V8 power American sedans on the market with a strong design and road presence. So here is the 392 6.4 liter V8 engine sound. The current 300 will go down as an icon from Chrysler, and it's sad to see it go. Chevrolet Camaro. The Camaro is considered to be one of the best performance cars the world has ever seen, but unfortunately it ended production. The Camaro was first introduced in 1967 and had a total of 6 generations throughout its history. In 2002, GM stopped production of the Camaro during its 4th generation, and then the long-awaited return of the iconic car was unveiled to the public in 2009. The 5th generation Camaro was a phoenix rising from the ashes. Then the 6th generation Camaro was introduced for the 2016 model year, and that was the best performance generation of the Camaro. The Camaro had multiple engine options, ranging from a standard turbocharged 4-cylinder to a supercharged V8 making 650 horsepower. So here's what the engine options sounded like from the Camaro. The Camaro is a really impressive track car that is one of the fastest cars from America on the Nürburgring Ring, with a time of 7 minutes and 16 seconds, and is a true race car that's under $100,000. It's incredibly sad to see such a wonderful performance car drive into the sunset for one final time. Audi R8. The R8 is another wonderful performance car that ended production in 2023. Audi had 2 generations of the R8 through its lifespan, with the first generation starting production in 2006, and the second and final generation started in 2015 and ended in 2023. The R8 was a popular car for the German automaker with a reputation of being a relatively and easy-to-drive car and to live with. Audi sent the R8 off with a bang, with the final GT model having a V10 producing 602 horsepower and a top speed of 199 miles per hour. So here's what that engine sounded like. The Audi R8 was a pretty good looking supercar, and it's a real shame it's no longer going to be around. Audi TT. The final TT rolled off the production line in 2023, making the end of a 25-year-long career across 3 generations. Over the course of the 3 generations of the Audi TT, there have been a total of 662,762 units ever made from 1998 to 2023. The final year of the car had a turbo 4-cylinder that delivered 288 horsepower, and had a 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. Here's what the turbo 4-cylinder sounded like. The TT was the most affordable sports car from Audi, and it's a shame to see it go. Ferrari F8 Tributo. Ferrari ended its production of its mid-engine V8 supercar, and it started production in 2019 and ended in 2023. The car is the successor to the Ferrari 488, with exterior and performance changes. The engine was a twin-turbo 3.9-liter V8 that made 710 horsepower, and had a top speed of 211 miles per hour and did a 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. Here's what that engine sounded like. Ferrari is an iconic brand, and it's sad as a car fan to see another awesome supercar being discontinued. Ferrari Pino M. The most affordable Ferrari will no longer be built and ended production in 2023. This Ferrari replaced the California T in 2017 when production started, and unfortunately the car lifespan ended in 2023. The engine that the car used was a 3.9 liter turbocharged V8 that made 612 horsepower. With a 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds and with a top speed of 199 miles per hour. So here's what that engine sounded like. It's sad to see another beautiful Ferrari go. McLaren 720S. The 720S was the predecessor of the 650S, and the 720S was in production from 2017 to 2023. The mid-engine car competed against some serious contenders, naming the Lamborghini Huracan, Aston Martin DBS, and the Ferrari F8, 296 GTB, and the 812 Superfast. The car was powered by a 710 horsepower twin-turbo V8 that did a 0 to 60 under 3 seconds, and did the quarter mile under 10.5 seconds over 140 miles per hour. So here's what that engine sounded like. The 720S wasn't just a supercar, it was a track monster. Now it will be replaced by the successor 750S. But this supercar is still going to be missed by the car community. Ford GT. The Ford GT is much like the original GT40. Was launched with a purpose to dominate the iconic 24 Hours of Le Mans. Ford proved that the American car makers could take the challenge to compete with the European car makers and win on their home turf. The original GT40 was that tool that did it, and was probably the greatest car to ever carry the Ford name. The GT had 2 generations, with the first generation in production from 2004 to 2006, and the second and final generation starting in 2016. With that generation, the GT went back to Le Mans and secured a victory in its place in the history books once again. So here's what the engine sounded like. The Ford GT was deemed a success by consumers and critics alike and will drive into the sunset as one of the best cars from Ford. Kia Stinger. The Stinger arrived for the 2018 model year and unfortunately its lifespan ended in 2023. The car was the answer to what the Korean version of the usual German sports sedan can look like. As a send-off to the car, Kia introduced a Tribute Edition model with only 1,000 units worldwide. The sports sedan had many engine options, but the engine to pick was a twin-turbo V6, making 368 horsepower with a 0 to 60 time of 4.7 seconds. So here's what that engine sounded like. It's a real shame to see another great performance sedan leave. So, those are the cars that are no longer going to be with us in 2024. Which performance cars are you going to miss? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you're new, please consider subscribing and turn on the notification bell. And if you love sports, this is definitely the place for you. And also share this video with more sports fans. For more videos, please click up here. And thank you so much for watching. My name is Nathan, and I'll see you guys next time. Just keep loving sports.